We have all become like one who is unclean, and all our righteous deeds are like a polluted garment. We all fade like a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, take us away. Isaiah 64:6. I'm Lovely Vibes, and this poem is entitled Tattered Wings. Very young, I was shown firsthand how evil this world could be when children weren't even respected as human beings. Most little girls become confused women way too fast, being preyed upon by every corrupt, dirty mind that passed. Little boys left to learn to become men by mothers struggling to even provide food to eat. Then these children, our children, are judged, labeled as dumb, stupid, hoes, or thugs when it's attention they seek, lack of love from any human thing. Yet, no one lifted a finger to guide them to a better position. Labels are for clothes, not children. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. John 8:7. Silence. Just as I expected. You all want to wear a crown. That's way too easy. How loosely the word is thrown around. If you want to impress me, wear the crown the Bible speaks about. Most of us would crumble and pass out at the sight of the thorns, and we all fall short when it comes to that throne. To all my tattered butterflies who have been through more than their share of storms, the holes in your wings still keep you warm. One day they will heal, but patience will help you first walk. Don't be in such a hurry to fly, for the day you are ready, you will understand why. Why you never folded under pressure, why you had to grow up so fast, why you may have never had what everyone else may have had. Because one day those wings, those tattered wings will heal, and they will be even more beautiful and stronger than before. As they ascend you to the skies, you'll look down on them below, and there's no telling how far you will go.
Thank you, and welcome to the Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour. This is your host, Spicee Gray, and we are finna bring in our co-host, Mr. Dwight Robinson. Everyone, welcome, Mr. Dwight Robinson.
Hello there. How y'all doing?
Hello. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
I hear you. I see Mr. Dwight couldn't make it into the studio today. The weather's getting kind of bad, circumstances happen, but he didn't fail us yet because he's right here.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much for joining us. Well, we're giving tribute to Child Abuse Month. So I really appreciate you joining in with me on this because it's a very touching subject and it's something that needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get started, we're going to kind of read something right quick. Child abuse is widespread and can occur in any cultural, ethnic, or income group. Every year, more than 3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States. This is a terrible epidemic, and we need to increase awareness throughout. 28.3% of adults report being physically abused. 20.7% of adults reported sexually abused. And 10.6% of adults report being emotionally abused as a child. Child abuse refers to any emotional, sexual, mental, verbal, and physical mistreatment or neglect by an adult in a role of responsibility towards anyone under 18 of age. The person who carries out the abuse may be an adult male, adult female, or another child, usually a teenager, who has already reached puberty, although younger children may also carry out abuse. This is the Unspoken Heart, Spicee Gray, and Dwight Robinson. And we thank you for joining us today. Now we have a young lady that we're gonna call a little bit on in the discussion hour. We do let y'all know that some of these videos that's going to be viewed are graphic. So if you're not able to take it, this is not the discussion that you should be entwining with. But we will be paying tribute to Child Abuse Month. So how's everything going down there? You gave us somebody that's an expert today.
Oh, yes, I did. My sister, she works with children for quite some time, over 10 years, and I worked a few years with a couple of children, and even bumped into one lady that I used to work with, and she's doing pretty good now. She's married, she's happily married, but it was a long road for her and everything. The kids, they suffer, like you said, sexual abuse, mental, physical abuse, and it's really hard on them at a young age and everything. It's uh, it's just sad, it's really sad. So, but that's what's going on, and it's sad that a lot of children are suffering from that right now.
Yes, a lot of them are.
They are.
So, I mean, it's very saddened because, we have lost so many children from 2020 to 2021. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if it's not by the parents, it was also by the law enforcement, which we won't be discussing that today.
Right.
But, you know, I myself, a single mother, I cannot imagine abusing my child at all. You know, I've been exposed to domestic violence. I've been uh, abused in relationships, and it's something that's very emotional for me.
Right.
I know on our prior show we did discuss, PTSD. We
Right.
discussed about, bipolar
Mm-hmm.
disorder and also anxiety attacks, which a lot of people don't understand. Child abuse can develop in this manner, which y'all will learn more from the expertise we're gonna be calling in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you working with mental illness patients,
Mm-hmm.
does this also involve some of the children coming into your facility that are being abused or have been abused?
Yeah, with that abuse, working with children, children are a little bit more different than working with the adults that are mentally abused. Children, it make them feel unwanted. They feel like it's something they did. It's their fault. They don't understand why they've been abused. These are family members. Sometimes it's family members that's doing it. The
Yeah.
dad, uncle, sometimes the mother. So this just affect them in so many ways. And some of the experience that I have worked with some of these children, you sit there and they all have a story to tell. And with that, it comes with a lot of anger. A lot of them are built in with a lot of anger, and then usually try to work with them so they won't grow up to be adults still full of their anger and rage. So it's sad, but you learn a lot from working with the kids. And there was one young man, uh, I knew him personally. His father was a friend of mine. And he's a grown man now with his own child. And my friend, he passed away. He actually gave him up to the state. And I didn't understand why he did that. He just gave his son to the state. And I talked to the son maybe a few months ago, and he told me that he was being mentally abused, physically abused by the mom. And at the same time, he felt like his father, which was my friend, didn't want him. So it kind of just messed him up. it really messed him up and everything. And he was there by himself. He felt alone, and God blessed him to make it out of there. He said he still struggled with certain issues, mentally issues from the lack of abuse, the abuse that he went through. So it's hard. It's still a struggle for him today.
I can imagine because it's something that is so traumatic to where it affects a person's whole life if they're able to make it out of it. But we're finna view a video right now. And as I stated in the post that I do not own the rights to this video, but like we was talking week before last with Miss Tam about CPS failing our children. This is one of the cases that CPS did fail the children. So take a moment and watch this video.
Now covering Clay County, police describe it as a child abuse horror story. A 3-month-old boy is being treated for a broken femur and 15 other bone fractures. He's been taken from his parents' custody. Investigators say the parents were not only abusing the baby, but doctors say he was also deprived of food and water. Clay County Sheriff's deputies arrested these two, 25-year-old Deshaun Johnson and 21-year-old Lindsay Vogue, the child's biological parents. Both are facing child abuse charges. Channel 4's Tarek Minders joining us now from our newsroom. Tarek, how did investigators find out about this?
Well, Tom, when the parents took their child, their 3-month-old son, to see the pediatrician in January, investigators say the doctor immediately noticed bruises on the baby's eyes, on his back, and his hands. So that doctor ordered the parents to take that child to Wolfson's Children's Hospital. And when they did not, that is when police issued a warrant for their arrest. Deshaun Johnson and Lindsay Vogue are the parents of a baby boy that may have permanent injuries for the rest of his life, according to investigators. Deputies say the baby has broken bones, a broken femur, and 15 other fractures. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Tarek, work with Channel 4 News. Good. You know Deshaun and Lindsay? At a house listed on the police report, family of the accused refused to talk about the aggravated child abuse charges both parents are facing. According to police reports, Johnson and Vogue took their child to a pediatric doctor who immediately saw evidence of child abuse. The parents were told to take the boy to Wolfson's Children's Hospital. When they didn't show up, deputies issued a warrant for their arrests.
Clay County actually came by my house about 3 weeks ago, and I was standing right here pressure washing the yard, and he came up and asked me, am I Deshaun?
Dana Poole is buying the house where Deshaun Johnson used to live. Neighbors are disturbed by the allegations.
A child shouldn't get hurt like that. A child doesn't do anything to get hurt like that. You know, it can't defend itself.
Totally uncalled for. There's no reason when any adult, they have a child, to protect them, to take care of them, to see for them, not to hurt them in any way.
Police reports reveal the baby boy was in the 52nd percentile at birth for his height and weight, but at his 3-month checkup, he was in the 4th percentile. Doctors say his parents denied him the chance to thrive.
This case was very disturbing because you're talking about major injuries to this child. Fact of the matter is, this child could have died. It's a miracle that the child survived.
DCF spokesman John Harrell says the baby is in the care of relatives, and the investigation into these parents isn't over.
What happened in this case could have been a lot worse.
The baby's mother, Lindsay Vogue, was arrested in Clay County on Friday. She has bonded out of jail. We've learned the boy's father was picked up on the west side over the weekend. He is being held right now in the Duval County Jail. Tom?
Tarek, do either of these parents have a criminal record?
You know, the boy's father has a very extensive criminal record, including arrests for armed robbery, burglary with a firearm, and resisting arrest, and multiple drug charges. These are all factors that the judge will look at when deciding whether or not to return this baby back to his parents.
That's something really sad. And what I'm going to do right now, thank you, Darren A. Jefferson, for tuning in. Jess Estrada, thank you, love, for tuning in. Aunt Miller and Roxanne Adams, I really, truly appreciate you joining in with us. This is a very touching subject. You will see other videos throughout the discussion hour. So what we're going to do now, we're going to call up someone very special. So give us just a minute. Chris, I'm on a broadcast. I do apologize for the noise in the back. So just excuse us. We had some people step in the studio.
Hello,
Yes, Miss Sheila, please.
this is Sheila.
Hi, Miss Sheila. This is Miss Gray from the Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I don't know why we got an echo, but we was calling you just to get some expertise, advice from you, and to hear what you have experience with, because you actually work with child abused victims. Am I correct?
That is correct. I've been working with children who've been abused for over 21 years now.
Okay. And what kind of mind frame when you get these children? What kind of mind frame are they in when they come in, and what have you witnessed?
Witnessed quite a few things. A lot of kids have been abused. They're non-trusting with adults. So we see a lot of anger, acting out. Kids that have been abused, they're always searching for love and acceptance, but they feel they get it in the wrong way. Right. You know, they'll act out to get that special attention, or just, and it's sad to say, just to be held, because they'll hurt themselves, do a lot of other things to themselves just for that physical touch, just to be held, to feel wanted.
Right.
It's a lot to go through, and especially from a child. You know, I have service patients from 3-year-olds to 17-year-olds,
right,
who have been through some really horrific things within their lives.
Yeah. Is it hard to get them to open up to you when you're there? What kind of tools do y'all use in order to help them through this?
Well, we do have therapists to help to talk, but it's very hard because, as I say, a lot of these kids have been abused by an adult. So for a kid to open up to another adult, they're not trusting within the adult population at all. They're pretty much isolated. I mean, they have a lot of flashbacks and little things that you can say or do, even sense or anything, can the child can have a flashback. So it can be difficult at times. It's very difficult.
Okay. With the children that come into your center, are they being sent in for the law enforcement, or are they sent in through CPS? What? How are they able to come to your facility to get help?
We get them. Yes, we get them all kind of ways. We get them through the law enforcement. We get them through CPS. We actually get them sometime because a lot of children are abused within their own home. So outside family members may pick up on the abuse, and the outside family member will actually bring the child into us until we will find out at times that the child is being abused. And then it leads to a lengthy ongoing investigation for the child's safety.
And what is the longest that a child has been in y'all care due to abuse?
Oh my goodness. We don't, at my facility, we used to keep a child up to sometime a year to make sure that they wasn't taken back to that abuse that they had left from. Now, I've seen the longest kid recently is almost about 6 months because we wanted to make sure that the kid was going to a safe zone.
Right. Okay. Now, when a child comes in, I know some of them are very closed down. Have you had one that was able to feel safe with you and be able to open up? And, what was it like, trying to just get this child to understand that I'm here for you?
And we do have some patients do come in looking for the help, wanting to the help. Within my experience of working with the children for so long, it's easier for me. The children are more accepting. The younger ones are. The older ones are really closed up everything, not trusting anyone, not wanting to talk, feeling embarrassed. I work with boys and girls, but I mostly work with the girls, and they feel that it's their fault that the abuse happened. We try to get them out of that mindset. They're the victim. So there's a lot of just different things that we try to, barriers is the word I'm looking. We try to break through so many barriers to reach that child.
Okay. So is counseling the only sort of tool that y'all use in order to help them through this?
And where I'm at, counseling is one thing. Sometimes counseling, we do use medications at times, and sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes not. But there are times to where we do have to use medication.
Okay. Now, dealing with children, for how long have you been doing this?
21 years.
Oh, 21 years. Wow. Okay, so what could be the outcome of a child that's been through your center, through the counseling, and now an adult?
And there's so many different things. Children of abuse, they grow up. A lot of them have trouble just forming relationships because of the trust issues. We've had some successful cases there where they were able to work past the abuse or and actually have a successful relationship. But sad to say, there's been cases to where they haven't. Suicide rate of a child that's been abused is up. So it's just those things.
Wow. Now, as a person that deals with this every day, is it hard for you? Because I know you have a business sense, then you have a home life. Is it hard not to bring it home emotionally after seeing a child that has been abused and emotionally dealing with this?
Yes, it's extremely hard. I've gotten a lot better with it now, but I mean, it was difficult when you see victims so young and you can read back into their history and kind of think to yourself, how could another human being, an adult human, do something so violent to a helpless child? I've gotten a lot better now from working there for so many years. So with each year, I mean, it affects me, but I'm able to deal with it a lot more now.
Okay. So if anyone wants to know that's watching, is there any advice that you can offer to them or guidance if they know someone that's being abused as a child or know somebody that has gone through it and have a difficulty dealing with it?
Yes, for anyone that, if you assume a child is being abused, don't be a bystander. Call. There's numbers, 1-800-252-5400. If you can't remember that, 1-800-4-A-CHILD. It's better to say something than not say anything at all. It's not going to cost you anything to say something. For those that have been abused, they're still living with that pain and still going through that grief, being afraid, hurting yourself, reach out for help. There's help out there for you, even as an adult. There's help. There's centers, there's counselors, open up to people. The more you open up to someone, the more help that they can give you.
Right. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being a part of this, in honor of the Child Abuse Month. I pray for the best for you and also the children that's there in the center. Thank you so much, and you have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I understand. That's you see a lot. And she's right. You see it a lot, and she's right. It's more easy for the younger kids to open up than the older kids. But I will say that what she said is correct. It was a young lady there. I'm gonna call her Sunshine, and she was one of the ones that was had a hard time there.
Right.
I bumped into her years ago, and she remembered me, and she was still having problems. She was an adult, and she was still having problems, even to the point where she, during that time, uh, she reached out for me for help.
Mm.
I helped her. She was still going through a lot of anger. Uh, she was going through so many emotions. She had children of her own, and it was like she was, in a way, kind of abusing them in a way. But she was able, through some help and meeting other people, she was able to get her life together. And she met she got her life together. She met a young man. They got married. I think they've been married for like maybe 6, 7 years. They're doing great. They're doing great. She got her life together. Her children are doing great. But she remembers the things. She remembered me, and she remembered the call of that, because that's where she came from, that facility so long ago. So a lot of them do get better. They don't forget, but a lot of them do get better.
Yes.
And so it's something else, though. And it is sad when adults do these to children, helpless children.
Yeah. Now, the signs of abuse, as some of y'all already heard from the expert that works with the children in a facility that has been abused, and it's very sad. But the signs of abuse is appearing withdrawn, anxious, or afraid, showing extremes in behavior, for example, compliance, passivity, or aggressiveness, lack of attachment to a parent or caregiver, as she explained when she was talking about when they come into the center, age appropriate behavior, for example, sucking a thumb.
Mm.
Do you have anything you want to add to that that are also signs?
A lot of it have to do, the signs of the behaviors are emotional, and the attention they want, and they look for their own attention.
Right.
They look for some kind of, it doesn't matter what kind of attention it is, they're just looking for it, regardless if it's good or bad. They want to feel love. And like a lot of times they are confused because they just don't understand, why me?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes from a family member, they feel like it's their fault and they're the victim, but they blame themselves.
Yeah, because they feel like with the family member, especially your mother, and your
Right.
dad, you feel like they would never hurt me. They love me, care about me. This is all I have. And then somebody to do that to the extreme, even to take you out this world, is just unjustifiable. But we can go to another video from Fairfield on another case where there was involving CPS failure. So, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get more into child abuse. Everyone, this is our next video from Fairfield.
Now at 5, bruised, burned, and tortured. Police say these two parents let their 10 children live in squalor and filth in their Fairfield home. The mother charged in all of this says she has no idea what police are talking about.
Well, she even let our photographer into her home. Alan Martin takes us inside for a closer look at their living conditions. Alan?
Yeah, Ken and Liz, prosecutors say the torture was carried out, quote, for sadistic purposes. This investigation began back in March when police responded to a report of a missing child. Well, that led them to the home on Fieldstone Court in Fairfield. The missing child was found nearby. All 10 children were then taken into protective custody. The mother, 30-year-old Ina Rogers, was booked on child neglect charges. And on Friday, authorities arrested the father, 29-year-old Jonathan Allen, for what they call a long and continuous history of severe physical and emotional abuse.
The children described incidents of intentional abuse resulting in puncture wounds, burns, bruising, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
The mother defended herself today, says that her children are her life. Ina Rogers took us inside her home. She says that she was cleaning it up to get her kids back. In the living room, there were piles of clothes on the couch. A look inside one of the bedrooms shows even more clothing and toys on the floor. The bathroom floor appears to be filthy. The bathtub had layers of dirt. Police found spoiled food on the floor among animal and human feces.
They put a restraining order on me for, it's a domestic violence restraining order against all my children because they said my house was dirty. I'm easily judged because I'm 31 years old and I have 11 children, but I work hard for my children. I'm in the medical field because I want to help people. I work every day to aid in the help against saving lives. Why would I ever have a house full of children that were abused or allow them to be abused? Babies, if you see this, your mommy loves you. Every day I am working for you, okay? So please stay strong because mommy is coming.
Jonathan Allen was in court today and did not enter a plea. He's facing 9 counts of felony torture and 6 counts of felony child abuse. His bail was increased to $5.2 million.
I'm horrified by the statements that were given by these children. Based upon what the children stated during their interviews, we believe that torture occurred in this house.
Police say the children are between the ages of 4 months and 12 years old and were homeschooled by their mother. The neighbors say they had no idea there were so many kids living in the home. Liz?
Looking at her, you could never tell that she had been broken. She flows so flawlessly as she dances naked in the cool breeze. No impurities, almost to perfection. Cappuccino glowing skin, dew from the morning mist sparkling on her body. Long locks of ebony curls bouncing wildly all about. Laughter and giggles pouring out her mouth. Feeling 1,000,000 pounds of sorrow lifted. Arms frolicking in the air. As she collapsed into tulips, petals flurry everywhere. She lays still, surrounded by the beauty, and slowly drifts off into a deep inner peace.
That was Miss Lovely. As you know as well, this is Poet Month, so we're celebrating Miss Lovely today with some of her pieces. She have given us permission to play. Beautiful lady, beautiful pieces. I really appreciate her. Seeing that video there, what goes through your mind? Because at one point she says, I work for children like this. I work for people like this. But then you looking at the house in the condition it is, even though she has 11 children.
Wow. The picture's 1,000 words, Spicee.
Yes.
I mean, that's just uncalled for. I mean, I'm in a way, I'm kind of speechless just seeing the place. You know, she's trying to explain herself, and the place look a mess, and I mean, and what can you say? I mean, you seeing all this, and she just sitting there, just standing there, I guess, trying to explain why it looks the way it looks.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm a single mother. I have more than 2 jobs tied up in one body, you know. But I still find ways where I'm getting the kids together, get the house in order, get the yard in order.
Exactly.
And you got 11 children, and you couldn't get them to get that in order to make it a safe and healthy place. That's what I can't understand.
Well, I don't know if she had any older kids. Well, there must have been some older kids there, at least 13, 14, that can help keep the house clean.
Exactly. Because I know
Help.
we were to make sure, my mom makes sure that we kept the house
Oh,
clean.
oh
My
yeah.
mom make sure that, no, you're going to get on hands. If you got to get on hands and knees, you're going to cut the
Yeah.
yard, you're going to clean the house, you're going to wash the clothes. So it's hard to believe, you know. But also we have a surprise guest, and I'm going to bring her in. She also works in the medical field as well, working with children that has been through abuse themselves. So everyone, I want to give a warm welcome to Dornice Williams. Okay, we wait for her to come. Let me make sure she didn't leave the studio. Hold up, because she was supposed to come on. So just give us just a minute. Okay, well, she's chewing me out. We introduced Dornice Williams. She just came in from work. She is a very dedicated, not just a mother and grandmother, but also in the medical field and working with children with behavior orders and, you know, seeing different things go on. So, Dornice, can you give us a little bit about your job description, how long you've been working in it, and some of the things you have seen from children being abused?
I've been working in the field since 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I work with kids from 3 to 17.
Okay.
I'm going to say 4 to 17. I worked in 2 different facilities.
Okay.
3. I love them. I mean, it's like I work with kids that was like come from broken homes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them mental,
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse. Some of them was CPS. Some of them came from courts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them was suicidal.
Mm.
And a lot of them was angry.
Real angry.
Angry.
Did they ever open up to say what was making them angry, even though we know the abuse was so traumatic on them?
I had one that was angry because he had made a child and wasn't allowed to see his child due to the fact that he was in a system from his parents. He wasn't allowed to see the child that he made because of his background and what he went through. So he felt like he was being neglected from being a dad.
Oh, wow.
And that caused him to have suicidal thoughts. And him not want to be here because he felt like he couldn't take care of his child. So what was the purpose of him being here?
Exactly. Poor baby. What do you think about that, Dwight?
Well, she's right. A lot of them come in there very angry. It's so emotional. I mean, you got the pain, the anger. It's like I said, the short time I did this, you just your heart just go out to these children.
Yeah.
Because they go through so much. You know, they just go through so much, and sometimes like I say it's kind of hard to trust adults, but they feel like all adults are like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Yeah. So
you know, the only thing I dislike is that we work in these facilities and we get to know these kids and we get to build a bond with these kids and they start trusting you and they talk to you a lot, and then according to the facility rules, if we see them outside of the facility, you're not allowed to talk to them.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, you have to, if you just in Walmart and you bump up into them and they speak to you, you have to report that to the people that you work for, because you can't be tied to them. You have to wait like about 2 years, 2.5 years before you can really say anything. And some of them, like they done reached out, they done got out the facility, they done reached out, and they want to come to you on Facebook and like, hey, just to let you know, hey, I'm okay. Thank you for what you done. I appreciate it. Like you was there when I didn't have nobody else, and you can't reach back out. You can't say like, oh, I'm glad you're doing good, because if they find out, then you can lose your job.
Oh, wow.
And what I don't understand is you tell us to build a bond, get to know them, but then you want us to just cut them off like they nothing. And and that's a hard thing, because they done been cut off so much throughout their life. Like that's hard to do. And some of them just don't understand that,
And that also will place them in a position to feel like, did I do something wrong to you?
Right.
So you got that self-blame that's going to end up coming back again and questioning, okay, was I just a job to her?
Right.
Did she really care?
And they can tell. They can tell if you really care. They can tell if you're there just for a paycheck, because they will let you know. If they feel it, they will let you know.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Let you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I know this is so hard. So, in the facility that you've been in, the counseling, the workers, what other type of tools do you give them to help them get through the process of healing?
It's basically you try to learn them and teach them everything. Like you have to tell them, like I told mine, it's like, when you get outside of here and you're on your own, you have to depend on yourself. So you have to get motivated. And I asked them, like, what kind of job you looking for? What you want to do? Like, let me know now so we can start working on this. Like, we have to show you and tell you like the things that you have to do. You have to get ready, because once you turn 18 years old, they can be in CPS custody, and CPS will bring them from placement to placement to placement to placement. Once they become 18 years old, CPS open up them doors and they're on their own.
Oh, wow. So there's no telling what could happen
So
with them.
it's no telling what can happen to them. They're on their own. Once, CPS say, oh, wait, if you go to school, we can give you $1,000 for this, and whatever, but, they're on their own. They basically, I had a child in my facility. Once he turned 18 years old, he was moved to the adult. Once he became that 18 and that adult, they let him go, and he was on his own.
Wow. Wow. We have Lovely Vibe herself. She says that it's sad these babies just want and need love, to know someone cares. She said, I guess referring to when you kick them out, she says, so they feel rejected again. Wow. And she says, kudos to you, Queen, for your service.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we appreciate you. I mean, I know it's a hard thing to do, especially when you got to leave this place, go home, and you're a grandmother, you're a mother, and then you still have this on your heart.
Right.
It's really sad. So I know we wasn't able to show the video week before last, but we actually have the video now. And like I said before, this is very graphic. I do not own the rights to it, but I actually dedicated the last show to her, and that was baby Brianna.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get teared up again because it's very touching, but it needs to be brought out. People need to be aware of this. They need to see how serious this is. They need to see what is really going on. Child abuse is not something that should be kept under the rug.
Right.
It shouldn't be something that's treated as if it's nothing, something minor. No, it's not something minor. So everyone, I'm going to go ahead and play this video of baby Brianna.
prompted big change in New Mexico law, but some say it's still not enough. We need to caution viewers, seeing her story for yourself is hard, and it is very graphic. We have never shown images like this before, but investigators shared them with us in the hopes that people will realize just how bad the problem of child abuse is, and that it is everyone's responsibility to step in and stop it. This is baby Brianna.
They raped her. They beat her. Massive bruising on the head. And then her little fingers were lacerated. Toes. She had bite marks on her face, cheek, head, arms, legs, chest, torso, everywhere. Literally bruised from head to toe. From the top of her head, all throughout her body, all the way down to her big toe, on her right foot.
On July 19th, 2002, baby Brianna died.
The day you went into that hospital and you saw her, what went through your mind? I got a lot to do.
Detective Lindell Wright was the first officer on the scene.
What about when you did have time to sit down and look back? Cried my eyes out. It'll stay with me for the rest of my life.
Investigators say Brianna's mother, Stephanie Lopez, father, Stephen Lopez, and her uncle, Andy Walters, were responsible. The night before, Stephen and Andy threw Brianna to the ceiling, then let her slam to the ground. And they had raped her, time and time again. Mom had bitten her child. The source of the other bruises remains a mystery.
Bite marks throughout her body that were old and new. She had skull fractures that were old and new. She had bleeding on the brain that was both old and new, which means she had been abused physically her entire life.
And while all the abuse was going on, another uncle and a grandmother knew, but never reported it or tried to stop it. District Attorney Susana Martinez prosecuted the case.
It tests you to the point of you're not sure you can speak. You're afraid that the emotion will take you over.
Martinez was able to get a conviction and a maximum sentence for all three abusers, but many argued it wasn't near enough. When baby Brianna was killed, a person convicted of intentional child abuse resulting in death faced a maximum of 18 years in prison. Her case helped change that.
18 years for the life of a child? You know, I thought it was absurd.
It took State Senator Mary Jane Garcia 3 years of trying, but she changed the law to make the crime punishable by a mandatory life sentence.
If the judges continue to sentence to the maximum under the new law, the law is sufficient. But if a judge doesn't sentence them to the maximum to try to give some sort of deterrent effect to the rest of the community, we've lost.
Both Martinez and Garcia say more needs to be done to punish people who fail to report abuse. People like Brianna's grandmother and uncle.
Those two individuals knew she was being abused. She was full of bruises that were old, green, brown, yellow color. Had they reported it early, had they insisted on that child not being abused, maybe we would have never had her death take place.
They were sentenced to 30 days in jail. The maximum is 1 year.
I think perhaps we ought to try to make it 5 years at least. I would go for something like that, and I would certainly try it.
Detective Wright says it's not just the law that needs to change.
I think a lot of proactive still needs to happen as far as young parents need to have proper education, proper support systems. I feel that a lot of young parents are struggling by themselves.
Fly, little butterfly, be free. Do not allow this world to weigh you down wing by wing. Take flight and never look back again. Transform from a slithering caterpillar to a magnificent wonder. Although it wasn't an easy road, and some spots were rough, you survived and waited patiently in that cocoon. While your other friends seemed to flourish, transform quicker, you watched and waited until your day came. Now it's your time to shine. And you still humble yourself. More beautiful than before and wise as ever. Explore the world while you still have time. And never allow anyone to hold you back. Keep your head held proud and fly on that straight path.
Okay. Again, that is Within My Soul by Lovely Vibes. Look her up. She's on all platforms. Very inspirational lady, very loving. She speaks everything and she does everything from her heart. I love her so much. Thank you, Lovely, for sharing this with us. Now, Dwight, as you've seen in that there, I know we spoke about it on week before last with Tam, but what are your feelings when you hear this? Because I know when I first seen this story, I broke out in tears. I was screaming. I took it so personal because she didn't have one day of peace except for when she was in the hospital.
Yeah. It hurt my heart when I seen it. I just can't believe other people stand by and watch this.
Yes.
I mean, they sit there and watch these people abuse this child. They didn't say nothing. They didn't come in to protect the child. They just felt like, well, it ain't none of my business.
And that's what I understand, because my mother, if I even pop my child on the hand, she's going off on me.
Right.
But you as a grandmother stood back and seen this defenseless child, baby that was just brought into the world, beautiful baby, and you did nothing. You spoke up of nothing.
Nothing. And there's so much of that going on, and it's just so much of that going on right now. And even foster homes, you have kids that are being fostered, and they're abused by some of the foster parents. I heard stories from kids, from people that used to be in foster care, and they said they've been abused, they were sexually abused, they were scared to say anything to the state or anything. So it's just so much of kids being abused today.
Yes.
It's unbelievable how many people that I came in contact with that are grown people that say they've been in foster, or even their own home, they've been mentally, physically, and sexually abused.
Yeah, and it's just like I said before, even in a foster home, when you are saying as a social worker, I'm removing this child from an unsafe home, your job and oath is to place them in a safe home. When do you take a background check or either pop up and check on a child, listen to the child? Because I mean, even in the last the part one, you know, the little girl even spoke on how she was being molested in the foster home.
Right. And you know what?
They didn't listen to her. So what was the point taking her out from the home that she was at and putting her into something even more abusive?
Don't make any sense. It just don't make any sense. Another thing I have to say, I know there's single women that usually get into relationship with men. Make sure who you involving yourself around your children, because a lot of these men,
boyfriend thing. Talk about that boyfriend.
They come in there, they abuse these children sexually, mentally. So you got to be careful who you let around your children.
Exactly, and stop making these new boyfriends the babysitter.
Exactly. Because we know we have some cases like that these boyfriends babysitting these children. Where I didn't mean to hit her that hard. I was just shaking her. I mean, we've seen cases of boyfriends killing kids, hurting kids.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a situation when my ex-husband was in the military, and my son was in the hospital on base, and there was a mother and dad and baby that they flew up from Fort Hood, Texas, and from what was said was that he had shook the baby so hard to where it shook her brain, really. And long story short, CPS has stepped in and they told that mother, they said, either you leave him or we take the baby.
Right.
So it's like you're at a position now to choose between your child and this man. And I'm kind of emotional about that right now because she chose him.
Wow.
And the baby went to CPS care. I cannot believe it. I cannot be. This baby wasn't even walking. And I don't know if later on down the line she ended up getting the baby back or she left him. But I know when we was in that hospital, it's just like she loved him more than she loved her own child.
That's the part I don't understand. How can you pick a man over your own child?
Exactly.
I really don't get that.
Yes. Lovely Vibe says they should have just left her at the hospital if they didn't want her.
Exactly.
I agree. If they didn't want her, horrible people.
Wow.
Yes, Mr. Dwight, that's facts. Hill, unfortunately, now you have to be careful leaving them with anyone, they mama, daddy, daycare, and school. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what's wrong with some of these young mothers.
Right.
Because I know coming up, one, I didn't pick no man over my child. And I might have been wrong, but I defended my kids against their own dad. Because my children are of me as well, but I look at it as they can't defend themselves. They look to me to protect them.
But it's babies.
Yes. So me as a mother, I didn't trust daycare. I didn't put them into a daycare facility until they was old enough to tell me if somebody did something wrong to them or what was going on.
I was too. I didn't trust my kids going to no daycare even until they was able to talk and tell me things. I was very protective of my children.
Yeah, and so I trusted my mother. My mother wasn't like that woman there because I'm telling you, if you did anything to her grandkids, she was ready to drop a bomb. She didn't play behind the grandkids. So I'm not understanding. One, the uncle and dad, I think got 18 years?
Yeah.
And then the mother, she got less. She was actually released in 2012.
Wow.
Which
she should have got more time. She should have got more time.
Like all of them should have got life.
Yeah,
that child's life was taken away. Why couldn't their life been taken away? That's not right. The grandmother and the uncle only got 30 days. Wow. 30 days. To me, if you see something and you don't report it, it's just like you did it.
Yeah.
You might as well abuse that baby yourself. You might as well bitter yourself. You might as well punch yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You sat there and said nothing.
Nothing. This child is suffering every day.
Yeah, but not just that. Not only did they not show her love when she was born, but when she died, the community had came together to bury her. And oh God, it was so sad because it was the police, the investigators, they all took this personal. They was in tears. To one investigator said, I wanted to know, what did she look like without bruises? Because this is the first time anybody have seen this baby. And as y'all seen the bruises. But this is without the bruises.
Wow, beautiful
this
baby.
Is a beautiful baby. Just looking at her, it's like, how could you not want to protect her? She couldn't protect herself. And you sat back and just did this child like she was not even human. I can't even see an animal because you don't even treat an animal like that.
That had to be a real cold-hearted person, just evil, just to beat a child, do a child, and abuse a child to death.
The mother, I seen her breaking down. Okay. The grandmother, I don't know if she was just breaking down because they were locking her up or whatever. But my thing is, where was your tears when this child was being abused?
Exactly.
And did you in that video at any time see the uncle or the dad break down in tears for any reason?
No.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. It was just like no remorse. Because I disagree with the detective. I understand, yes, some of these young parents, They do need to take classes. They do need courses. They need to be helped with on how to deal with children. But my child was a young parent, and she never did that. She never abused her child. If anything, she would come to me and she's like, "Mama, I can't get her quiet." And I would step in. I would help her.
Right.
But I could not see I even look at my grandchildren to this day, and I could not see doing that to them. Knowing that they can't defend themselves.
Right.
It just
I just don't see why people that if you don't want a child, just get a child a way to get adopted by a good family.
Exactly, like they said, they got the fire station. You can drop maybe at the fire station. You won't be charged.
Yeah. I mean, some people are just not meant to be parents.
At all. And I agree with that. But it's really sad about her case. Now, when you talk about sexual abuse, because if you think about the children that were killed, some of them were actually sexually abused as well.
Right.
Which is sad. Now, the signs of sexual abuse consist of the activities such as assault by penetration, such as rape or oral sex, non-penetration sexual activities such as touching outside of clothing, rubbing, kissing, and masturbation.
Yeah.
Watching others performing sexual acts or getting a child to watch such acts. Looking at showing or sharing images, videos, toys, or other material. Telling dirty jokes or stories, forcing or inviting a child to undress for sexual gratification. Flashing or showing one's genitals to the child, encouraging a child to behave in a way that is sexual inappropriate. Grooming or preparing for future abuse or activity. That really bothers me.
Yeah. You know what? Since you said that, it was a case. It was somebody I knew that had a case going on now. It was a mother, and this mother had some kids, and she had sex with her own son. She had sex with her own son. Not only she had sex with her own son, she made the son sleep with the sister. Okay. She also had a boyfriend and got him involved in it.
What?
She had a boyfriend and got involved. The mother slept with the son. She made the son sleep with the sister, and then the man she was with was doing things with the kids too. And now they in jail. They in jail. But these kids are they're together in a foster place, and these kids still try to sleep with each other because of that. Because they believe that's what they should do. Because
their mind was disturbed.
Exactly.
Now, physical signs that may indicate sexual abuse. Y'all pay attention, because you need to look for these signs if if a child comes to you or you see a certain behavior, and you got to make sure. Physical signs that may indicate sexual abuse include difficulty in sitting or walking. Sexual abuse usually involves someone the child knows. Often the child will be told to keep the relationship secret. They may be threatened with something bad happening if they tell. An adult who carries out sexual abuse with a child may have received the same treatment in the past.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. That's sad. That's sad, because it means that the cycle is repeating. So it's like, where does the cycle break?
That's a good question.
Where is a breaking point?
They don't get help, or it's going to continue like a revolving door. It's going to continue and continue.
Exactly. Now, there's a signs that you can, for everyone is looking and taking notes, signs a child has been sexually abused. And there's one thing I forgot to do. I know that's what I did. So once that's out there, if you want to call in, please call in. The number is 512-668-2814. That's 512-668-2814. And this here is also the number. So if you know somebody that's been abused, or if you're going through abuse or need help, please contact that hotline. Now, you probably already know some of these, Dwight, but signs a child has been sexually abused. Talking about being sexually abused. Displaying knowledge or behavior which is beyond their years, bizarre or unusual. Withdrawing from friends and others. Running away from home. Shying away from a specific person. Having nightmares, as our specialist had indicated earlier.
Right.
Wetting the bed after not doing so before. The changes in moods or appetite.
Exactly.
Get this. Pregnancy or having sexual transmitted disease known as STD, especially before the age of 14 years of age.
Wow.
You have something you want to add to that, or?
It's just sad, and I just encourage anybody that if they know any child that's being abused, please report it.
Yes. Don't sit back and turn your head and act like it didn't happen.
Exactly. I don't care who it is, the mama, the daddy, uncle, whoever, if anybody, a neighbor, whoever, please report that in.
Yes.
That's a child that needs help.
Yes, and pay attention to signs. You never know, a child could be summoning you for help with the person right there. Whether it's a sign or looking at you a certain way, or even drawing something saying help, drop it on the floor. Please pay attention to children out there, because there's one out there that's crying out for help.
Exactly.
Especially when they're in school. And I mean, it's sad because in some cases CPS has failed.
Oh yeah, they have.
And it hurts my heart because in his next video that I found, like I said, please watch this with caution because it is very graphic. This is a little girl that daddy was Cuban, and I guess the mother was Puerto Rican. Beautiful little girl that you might as well say, if in any position you want to make the Time magazine, this is not one. So we're going to take this moment and watch a little piece on this here and how CPS failed her and her cry out for help. Her father's cry out for help. Her father's family's cry out for help. And what the judge and his system had done in failing her.
Looking at her, you could never tell that she had been broken. She flows so flawlessly as she dances naked in the cool breeze. No impurities, almost to perfection. Cappuccino glowing skin, dew from the morning mist sparkling on her body. Long locks of ebony curls bouncing wildly all about. Laughter and giggles pouring out her mouth. Feeling 1,000,000 pounds of sorrow lifted. Arms frolicking in the air. As she collapsed into tulips, petals flurry everywhere. She lay still, surrounded by the beauty, and slowly drifts off into a deep inner peace.
Wow. Oh God, that was enough to take all your breath out of your body.
Yes, it was.
And there was so many wrongs in there. And my heart goes out for this baby, for her dad who passed away, as y'all read along, because he was trying to make efforts to get his child safe and free from her mother. But the day that the plane poster departed was the day he passed away. What go through your mind when you had seen this?
I just felt bad. My heart went out to this child. You know, it just breaks my heart to see helpless children just being abused like that.
Yeah, and see, she did have somebody that did love her, and that was her dad. Her dad made her feel like a princess. He showed her so much love.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, he passed away. And this baby was crying out for her dad because she knew that she was safe with him, that she knew that he loved her.
Yeah.
And did you see the things that the mother said to her? And I can't believe that you would do a child like that.
Unbelievable.
Yes, such a beautiful, beautiful child. And my heart just, when I seen this, it just broke. It's like, how could you? And if y'all follow her story, this woman attempts to tell her side of the story. It's on YouTube. You can Google it. The mother. And what comes out of her mouth is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I am embarrassed to even put her in a category as a mother. Mom.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to even call her a mother.
Exactly.
She didn't act like a mother.
She didn't. The way she treated the sweet child. And my thing is that I don't know if it was in there, but where the neighbors had said that you hear this child crying, mom, no, stop. And as she got to screaming out loud and the mother turned the radio up, not one time did these neighbors think we need to call the law so they could do a welfare check. The schools had tried everything to try to get this child safe. What I couldn't understand is why did this judge kept giving this woman so much right?
To me, like he just didn't care.
Exactly. Like she didn't, even in death, how could she be having a privilege of having any type of rights or say so to this child when she didn't even show her love?
Exactly. She's sick herself.
She's the cause of her being
Yeah,
gone.
exactly.
But you give her the privilege of bearing her on top of somebody that she never met. Instead of allowing her to be at peace with her dad. You know, I would never understand it. I don't. But I urge anyone, if you see a child out there being abused or talked to a certain way, you know, because people don't understand. Don't say that, oh, I don't never hit my child. I'm not abusive. If you there's verbal abuse.
Right.
There's
That's right.
there's emotion. And I've heard some of these others and it made me so mad. But there's verbal, there's emotional, there's mental.
Bro can hit you just as hard as if somebody hitting you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you could just put that all in one box. And it's all under abuse. You can't separate them. You just can't. Don't nothing you say under verbal, emotional, mental makes anything feel any better than the physical.
That's right. That's right. Especially coming from your mom or your dad. I mean,
yeah. And I mean, you know, I know this is Child Abuse Month, Poet Month. Once again, I thank Lovely Vibes for being a part of this moment. Unhesitantly, she allowed me to play her music on here, to be a part of this moment. That, you know, she is a very devoted woman as well to children. She worked with children, you know, Children's Alive. She's an advocate for children, you know, so I knew she wasn't going to have a problem with it, you know. It just, it hurts, you know, that we actually have a month in awareness of child abuse because nobody was there to protect them.
Sad.
It's sad.
Pray for the children. Pray for them.
Yes, we got to keep them uplifted, keep them safe. You know, even when it comes down to the father. I mean, I know as we're gonna do a moment of silence at the end, and there's gonna be some children shown. Please read on their pictures and say a prayer because these children didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance, and then got somebody they know and never thought that they would hurt them the way they did. You know, don't ever feel like there's nobody out here, and I'm speaking to a child, even a teenager. Don't ever feel like nobody cares.
That's right.
Don't ever feel like there's no hope out there. There's a number scrolling by. If you're afraid, you know, call this number. You can be anonymous. But there are people out here that do care. And we just want you safe. We don't want to see you on the news, on a t-shirt, on a flyer. It's the most hurtful thing to see because we are losing too many children.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
To violence. It's just too many and it hurts. You know, to where you got to say, you know, at one point, it's not about you, it's about this child.
Exactly.
It's not about you, it's about the child you chose to bring into this world. They did not ask to be here. And for you to bring a child into this world to treat like this, you're not just a person without with no conscience. You're a monster. And the way I feel, the crime that you did, the crime you should serve. No ands, ifs about it. How would you feel if somebody put you in a room and beat you and there was nobody there to protect you? To not understand why am I being done like this? That child didn't know why. That newborn baby didn't know why. These children come in the world, all they want is love. Don't sit back talking about, oh, they bad or they out of control or they just don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the patience, there are people out there with a big heart that do.
That's right.
Step aside. Step aside. Because I have a family member that's abusive, that was abusive to their children, but they're in a safe place now. But for you to stand before a judge and say, I will do it again.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
Some people need to really look in the mirror and get help. It's not about you. These children didn't ask to be here. I don't understand, like, how can they feel like they're so big? Because it's not even about being a bully. That's beyond being a bully.
Mm-hmm.
But you know this person can't even fight you.
Exactly.
And you beating them down, you know? I don't understand.
I don't believe it. Something upstairs mentally is just wrong with them. I mean, something just ain't right for you. If a person beating a child, blaming their problems on the child, hurting the child because they have problems and issues, I just don't get it. Why?
I don't
like
either.
you said, the child didn't ask to be here, so.
No. And, you know, we got to break our silence. In order to break the cycle, we got to stand the ground. We got to speak out. We got to start getting involved.
Exactly.
If you see a child out there, just like you see a child in a car that's locked in there and it's hot, if you see that person put a hand on the child the wrong way or talk to the child, call that number. Take that license plate number. Do something. Don't do like Brianna's grandmother and do nothing.
Just stand there watching, not doing nothing. Do something.
I still don't understand why she didn't get time served, a long time served. I don't understand why the mother is still out and Brianna is gone.
Exactly.
I wonder, did anybody ever hear her laugh? Day one, you brought her home. They abused her.
You gotta be an evil person just to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, pure evil. But I thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
I guess, Dora got your plate. But I got you next time.
Yeah, you got me next time now.
Yes,
enjoy my plate.
Yes, we had the orange chicken, the salad, and fruit, everything. But you know, I got you. Maybe you'll come down. I have to probably make some fried pork chops or something. Never know. But you know, I'm trying to see about doing it. We had a part 1 on more than being a woman. I want to do a part 2, so keep your fingers crossed because I'll be making a phone call after I finish here. And hopefully we could do more than a woman part 2 next week. Do you have something you want to leave with us today as a nutritional thought?
I would just call that number, please. If you see anything, a child going through something, a teenager, please call that number. I mean, too many people too quiet and don't say nothing. It's time to speak up. It's time to say something.
Put away the camera on the phone and put your fingers to work and help. Take a stand. Take a stand. I do thank you. Y'all be safe out there because we're supposed to be having some bad weather come in, which I am feeling.
We're gonna get up here in Austin too. We're probably getting some bad weather coming up here too. Thunderstorms and things. So yeah, we're gonna get it up here too.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out and to Lovely Vibes. Thank you, baby, so much. Thank you for being a part of this. It's I can't say it's been a joy, but it's been emotional.
Yes.
So tune in next week. We look out for my post. Don't forget y'all Purple Hearts, because you know we got Mother's Day coming up. I'm waiting on the gift to be delivered. We're gonna have actually 2 gifts. So I gotta do my part and I'm waiting on him. But we're gonna have 2 gifts for Mother's Day. So make sure that you get your Purple Hearts up when you see the post, because I'm watching and I'm putting the tickets in and everything. So, and it's only one time you can put your entry in. Now, you know, Spicee Gray gives out good stuff. You know that. I love the gift of giving. So I don't care if you're a man, woman, it's for your mama, your sister, your daughter. It's going to be Mother's Day.
Right.
So get your Pepper Heights in. Let's see who win. Make sure it doesn't matter if I have your number already or not. Make sure you follow instructions. Inbox me the number so I can place on a ticket. Then you all the way in. I will see y'all next week. This is Spicee Gray and Mr. Dwight. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. Comment, like, and subscribe. I thank y'all very much. Much love. Y'all be safe out there. And this is our moment of silence for the children's lives that's been lost. Oh,